So, hello, Dr. Hanks, and anyone who might be watching this. So, this is my Stump Speech. Uh, I chose a very specific setting. This will be supposed to be a brief luncheon presentation for the entrepreneur program that's in the business college back in the university where I used to work. So, let's start. First of all, I would like to talk a little bit about leadership. That is supposed to be a hot topic for you all, so we have heard a lot about it. To have a competitive advantage, you must create an edge over your competitors. In the aggressive business world, especially in today's economy, every advantage counts to establish your business in the top of the industry. Gaining a competitive advantage takes strategic planning and extensive research. Okay, but what I would like to ask you is what is behind this development of a new competitive advantage? What characterizes the ideas that made possible these achievements? Is this just a unique state of mind, or is it an extension of an attitude to think on the future that drives most of our achievements? People love to ask what are the tools needed to build a successful enterprise. As an Ecuadorian futurist, an engineer that needed to work in different countries around the world, it is easy for me to understand that every enterprise just needs a different approach to manage their resources, values, and culture. People are always looking for alternatives and perspectives that may lead them to succeed in their business. I have heard a lot of times, for example, that we need this attitude called endless restructuring of things. It's okay. But in my humble opinion, that's not always the best approach, and that's not the way of a transformational leader. There is a lot more that we need to learn to balance for a real business transformation. Most of all, leaders understand the importance of finding ways to develop their visions. In this sense, leaders have foresight. In my very personal journey, futurism is my tool of choice to become a transformational leader. And actually, for me, it's easy to understand the importance of being a futurist from the point of view of leadership. The role of the leader has evolved so much and far away from the former simple concept of profit. Now leaders need to be as humble as disciplined, and their creative thinking lead our way to understand the world. Leadership used to be related to aggressive stances or violent approaches to win. But the world has changed. And how does all this relate to futurism? Again, leaders see the end or the chance for a better future. They have foresight and vision. They have this tenacity and knowledge to support the out-of-the-box visions of the future within the current business boundaries. And that is the core of being a futurist. So the obvious question is, what is a futurist then? Officially, I would say that a foresight practitioner is a professional who thinks about the future in order to help people understand, anticipate, prepare for, and gain advantage from coming changes. This is not a new field, and the futurist community has grown to a well-matured field that is currently even expanding its scope. Evolving from the initial very human curiosity, modern times has expanded this curiosity to a certain need to understand the future. Modern times, modern technology, and ever-going social change make the business field work with increasing uncertainties. Of course, it's not like we are some sort of fortune tellers who predict what's going to happen. That's not the idea, of course. For example, people like to listen to the weather forecast or the traffic radio stations in order to prepare themselves for future decision and just for the next day. So, what does an organization or an enterprise need to listen in order to prepare themselves from incoming changes and the future? What are those possibilities? So that's where we start. Our work starts with the present, the current condition, the subtle trends, and something that may start to show in the field. We don't actually know what will happen with these current conditions or trends, but knowledge is opportunity. For example, do you know what will happen in the next years in the field of transportation? Cars and so on. Everybody knows about the typical car, hybrids, an electric car here and there, something like that. But what else? What do you know about, for example, autonomous cars in the next 2 years? Some of them already working operational in Asia. What about these fuel cell cars hitting the market in the next years? The new developments in the hydrogen field that may change the energy market actually. So, all of this is information. We mostly work with the next step. We want to create scenarios to develop possible future scenarios to be able to understand possible implications for us. That's what we need, choices and options in order to plan and prepare. So, is your enterprise ready for these possible changes? What is the great opportunity behind these possible future scenarios? What do we need to do to bend the opportunities and forge a best possible future for our enterprise? That's the important part for us. We futurists spend a great deal of time thinking, analyzing, strategizing. For that reason, we futurists are inquisitive, creative, and critical thinkers who don't mind uncertainty and will help you understand possibilities and choices, and of course, plan for what is ahead of us. We love to think outside the box, and creativity is actually one of my favorite traits of leadership. A futurist is a neat example of thinking outside the box. To be a futurist, to challenge our beliefs, is to learn to lose a little bit the mainstream point of view and become more daring on designing a scenario and perspectives. That's the idea. That's what we need. So, again, what do we need more futurists among us? This is exactly my next point. To be a futurist implies more than just improved communication skills in order to promote dialogues with non-futurists and introduce new tools and visions. We need to understand that leadership is not only about coordination or goal achievement. Modern times require us to become transformational leaders, and that implies to have a different point of view on how things develop and lead us to the future. Futurists have the winning hand over traditional forecasters because of this, not only because of our tools, but of our inherent passion and commitment. People easily relate and like to think about the future, but sometimes they don't fully understand the wide arrangement of options it contains. We're so settled sometimes with the present that it is just not that easy. That is why foresight is a tool to incorporate in our work. So, if you like this tool called foresight, to improve your leadership skills, then it's time to become one. Just to finish here, I would like to say that I consider future one of the only words that may truly show the meaning of the word opportunity. An interesting side of the futurist field is the provocative implications of our work. First of all, yeah, first of all good leaders are futurists too, because they have their mind set on the possibilities. But going beyond the obvious is a special skill of leaders. But we need that extra step that futurists are trained to. Uh, drawing out, drawing out the implications and visions. Um, I must admit that managers are not that always happy with leaders that think outside the box. But modern times shows that enterprises are finding futurists a high valuable tool to bring in. It's not a luxury but a necessity to think about the future. So why not to get help from people who spend all their time doing that? So this is it. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about foresight. I really appreciate it, and I really hope you enjoy it. Bye.